Okay, I'm back again, and this is kind of like a second take. I did this once before, and I wasn't happy with it. Uh, so I'm going to give this a second shot. I'll have some links down below in the description, kind of backing up what I said. This will have at least one aspect of it, and it's actually, I think, somewhat interesting information. There's been a question been popping up in some live chats I've been listening to, and that is where we the host thought we were heading in terms of cars and things like that. Will the internal combustion engine go away? Are we headed toward an electric society? So no one's asked me, but I figured, what the hey, why not? I'll cover it. Let me begin by first and foremost saying that I don't foresee the internal combustion engine going away in my lifetime. There are far too many vehicles out there with it operating in, and there's too many types of vehicles and different operating climates, if you will. So they're not going anywhere. And this is not just your, what's after my personal heart and soul, antique, your antique cars and engines, tractors, and whatnot. But you have to look at in terms of current construction equipment, like your earth haulers, your 18 wheelers, airplanes, and even your ships, freight trains. At the current time, electric technology is just not there to support those things. So I don't foresee, at least in those capacities, anytime soon, I don't see some sort of internal combustion setup going away. And even then, you're going to have people finding ways to keep your antique vehicles and equipment going. And there's a very interesting thing about that. And this is where the links come into play. There are synthetic fuels being developed as we speak that are carbon neutral. One of the popular ones that's being investigated is utilizing CO2 mixed with hydrogen to make a gasoline alternative. And like I said, this is supposedly going to be carbon zero, carbon neutral, whatever. The big thing is right now the technology is not there to effectively make it under like $20 a gallon. Plus, you'd have to be able to mass produce the hydrogen, and that's a little issue right now. And to mass produce it and do so efficiently. And that's going to be one of the things I'll point out that will affect across the board is just technology. So right now, at least, truth be told, I say at least another 15, 20 years. People may be talking about, we're going to go all electric. No, you're not. The internal combustion engine is here long term. As far as heavy use, I can see it sticking around for at least another 50 years. And even in your day-to-day usage, I see it being an option for about another 15, 20 years. The reason I say that is as follows. When you look at the electric car as we currently know it, you have to look, it's not just a matter of, just plug a battery in. You have to get the materials to make the battery. You have to make the battery. You have to have the infrastructure to support charging the battery. Then you have to get the battery charge times down to a reasonable rate, and then they have to be able to have a reasonable amount of mileage. Quite frankly, at least in the United States, that infrastructure is not there. And a lot of people are not going to want to plan, say, a family trip around charging up a battery. You have people who say want to drive instead of fly from, say, Virginia to Florida. They're not going to want to stop and recharge a battery every couple hundred miles and spend a few hours doing it. And that's something that comes into play that you cannot deny. Even if the infrastructure was there and you had the charging stations in place to do it, they're not going to want to do it. Now, you may eventually get to where the infrastructure is there and the batteries have the capacity and can be quick charged in like under an hour and blah blah blah. By the time that gets there, not only do I foresee there being a synthetic fuel, again I'll have some links down below to that, which I think will reign supreme far before electric vehicles. You will have a development of hydrogen fuel cells, because basically by the time you get to where you can mass produce the hydrogen for a synthetic fuel, you'll be able to do it for a hydrogen fuel cell. And basically I think we will ultimately leapfrog over by utilizing gasoline as we know it, say a diesel electric setup, and then synthetic fuels. That will basically tide us over till we leapfrog the electric vehicles as we know it and go straight to a hydrogen fuel cell, which probably you would be able to recharge in the same amount of time it would take to fill up your tank. Simple and easy enough, isn't it? But basically by the time the technology gets here for electric vehicles, we will have moved beyond that technology. And even then, I don't know exactly when. Like, you might be able to get planes moved over to some sort of hydrogen fuel cell. You might at least operate some systems. But I don't know if you would be able to make it work 100%. And even then, a lot of your ships, I don't foresee them going electric. I don't even foresee them being able to go hydrogen. At least not with the technology we currently have. I think, like I said, in my lifetime, in those capacities, there will be I'll never see the day when internal combustion engines are entirely phased out, put it like that. That's my thoughts on the matter. Like I said, I'll have some links down below in regards to the synthetic fuels. Let me know what you think. Do you think I'm onto something? Do I have some valid points? Am I completely out of my ever-loving mind? If you've been watching my channel for a while, don't answer that question. Later.